What's happening, YouTube? Cande back with another how-to video coming to you straight from quarantine. Today, we will be replacing the almost 20-year-old, very capable stock exhaust with some used, y'all already know I always get my shit used, catback exhaust system. From what I was told, this is the Rev 9. These do have the blue tips that you can't really see because they're dirty, but we'll polish them up. I actually traded my old stock HR rims for these. I don't know if y'all remember my black ones. The Ypipe does have some scratches, but even my stock exhaust now and most all 350s exhaust system have scraping on this flex pipe right here. Not the biggest deal. Some more scratches right here. I'm assuming it was on a lower 350Z. There should be a bit of an upgrade from what we're currently rocking right now. Alright, why'd I get a used exhaust and why'd I get Rev 9? I got a used exhaust because one, they didn't cost me nothing. Just traded my stock rims for them. Say less. And y'all know I don't mind getting used stuff. Plus it's underneath the car, you're never gonna see it. And I got Rev 9 because actually Rev 9 is my favorite exhaust for the 350Z. I've looked at all other exhausts from the $1,500 to the $200. Rev 9 by far, in my opinion, has the best sounding exhaust in the entire aftermarket. My opinion. I really like the deep tone. I don't like it too loud. Y'all know my Miata. I kept that stock exhaust. I actually am not a huge fan of loud exhaust at all. And I'm not really a fan of the single exhaust either. I'm pretty sure my grandpa would have a heart attack if he see me go from a dual exhaust to a single exhaust. So yeah, I'm hella excited to put these on. We're also going to get a significant weight difference because the mufflers on these 350Zs are absolutely heavy as fuck. It's goddamn solid steel in that motherfucker. Alright, last night, because I knew I was going to do the exhaust today, I did spray most of the bolts with some penetrating oil. What's happening, y'all? Night before, we gonna smack all these motherfucking bolts with some WD-40 Specialist Rust Release Penetrating Spray. Real quick, just smack all the bolts that we're gonna take off, including all these, just like so. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. These are the two primary tools that we're going to be using, our big breaker bar and our small breaker bar. The two sockets that we're going to be using are both 14 mils. Most of the bolts are going to be all 14. We have one mid-deep socket. This is a 12 point. And we have a deep socket 6 point. This is going to be the one you want to be using. I really fucked up using this in this video. You're going to see. Oh fuck, oh fuck. 12 point sockets are extremely useful when you don't have a lot of room, but when you're working with rusted, seized, real soft bolts and nuts, this is your worst enemy because it doesn't have a good grip on the nut and it's just gonna strip it. Using a 6 point, we get all the faces in the nut and get an even distribution of pressure on the metal of the nut or bolt. I actually bought this 14 specifically for this job. I also bought this at O'Reilly's and I will put the part number in the description. Y'all know how we do on this channel. It's every single bolt. I'm gonna do my best to show you in detail and exactly what attachments I use and what angles I attack each bolt at, because I know for me that personally is something I look for in tutorials, because sometimes that's the hardest part. As always, if you got any questions, drop them down in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram at 350zcande. Y'all already know how we do it here. It's candy chopped up, not slopped up, and we already got the car jacked up. Enough that chit chat, let's get straight into it. Hey, if y'all ain't subscribed, we got weekly 350Z videos coming every single Friday. Make sure y'all subscribe. Alright, right here, the first bolt we're gonna work on. This right here, we got the mid pipe, also connected to our resonator. You see we got a bolt right here, which actually has a ground cable connected to it. Alright, first bolt. Good start. Alright, we're gonna spray one more time, just to make our life a little bit more easier. After you remove the nut, that ground cable comes off the stud, and you still got a bolt behind that one. Go ahead and crack both these nuts loose. That one was pretty loose. Alright, so these bolts, as you can imagine, are extremely tough. For the right nut, I went with the deep socket 14 mil with our wobble 3-inch extension. If you remember this from my Miata starter video, this gives you just enough swivel to be able to get into those hard to reach places. We're gonna go ahead and take both bolts completely out. Oh fuck, that one we're gonna have to take out by hand. One thread at a time. Nice and slow, bruh. I'd rather one nut take me an hour than snap it. Y'all ever heard the story about the tourist in the air? Alright, so while I was working on this bolt right here, you can see that shit just took like a 45-degree turn. And we're just gonna keep taking that bolt out. My man goes straight limp right there, bro. Poor guy. Hopefully we can still take this whole pipe out. If not, I gotta bend it back. All right, moving all the way back up. This is the catalytic converter on the driver's side. We just hit some WD-40 on these two. Now we're gonna crack them loose. These bolts look like they were soaking at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, so hopefully they don't snap. Oh yeah, that sounds nice. Lord, let my luck continue. Alright, so this is an old trick. Get the jack under the breaker bar. I wasn't able to get it out, so we're gonna try this way. Hopefully everything goes okay and we don't snap it. Nice and slow. There you go. Alright. Yes, sir. Perfect. Say less. Now do the same thing to the other side. Alright, this is the catalytic converter on the passenger side. Already oiled up the two bolts right here. Same thing we've been doing. Come on. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Alright, now we got a second bolt. Bro, I'm sitting here trying to put in this socket, and look what's stuck in between, bro. How does a rock fit right there, man, perfectly? What are the odds? Come on, baby. There you go. Oh, my shoulder's burning. Well, it's stuck, but say less. My 6-point deep socket doesn't fit on this bolt with my big breaker bar. Damn it, I don't have enough leverage on my small breaker bar. Alright, using the 12.14 mil mid deep socket. I don't really want to use a socket, but I need to have it shorter because it doesn't fit in between this space right here. Okay, I low-key kind of stripped it. I really fucked up. But hopefully y'all can learn from my mistakes because I stripped it by not having the socket on all the way down. Especially if you're using a 12-point, you want to make sure that the socket is seated all the way to the base of the nut. I'm just finna use my 6-point deep socket 14 mil. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Alright, next fucking morning. So since we got Captain Shrimpy over there and motherfucking Senior Traffic Cone over here, we're gonna have to drop the entire exhaust as one unit. Now, I'm just being grateful that the bolts on the cats came off, because that's a whole different world of problems if these bolts didn't come off. So we just gonna roll with the punches. In order to drop the entire exhaust, we're gonna have to drop this chastity brace. Now, your subframe is more or less shaped like a W. Go ahead and start one of the corners. Right here, we're looking at the passenger side. You can see we have a plastic cover covering the end of the brace. It's gonna be two 10mm nuts, one right there and one right there, and we have a third 10mm bolt which is located right there. We're gonna go ahead and remove all three. Alright, okay, after you remove the cover, it reveals the three 12mm bolts at the end that we need to remove. Alright, let's crack all three of them loose. Take each of them all the way out. Alright, same exact thing to the other side. Our driver's side does not have a cover, but it's the exact same three 12mm bolts. Go ahead and crack them loose. Now we can take all of them all the way out. There you go. After we got those, all we got left with is 4 more 14mm bolts. We see 2 right there. 2 right there. These are the last 4 bolts, so this will drop the brace. We're gonna go ahead and crack them loose. And we're gonna go ahead and remove just one of them. And we're gonna go ahead and remove this one just halfways. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing for the last 2. We're gonna go ahead and take off one of them all the way. Alright, supporting the brace, put one hand against the middle of the center, and we're going to loosen the 2 14mm bolts that we have to take off. Dude, if this hits me in the face, I'm going to be so upset, man. And then it just drops down. Look at all the big ass rocks that are in there. Crazy. Alright, now coming all the way down the exhaust to the passenger side. Me personally, I hate working with these hanger rubber mount things, so I always just take the whole bracket off themselves. In order to get to these bolts that you see the bracket is attached to, we have to remove this little plastic piece, and I've already have the 3 10mm bolts needed to remove it. We have one right here in the corner, another one right here, and one inside just right there. Once those are removed, this whole thing comes right out. And that uncovers the 3 12mm bolts from the hanger bracket. Before we remove these 12s, I do want to say I do have the Y pipe elevated or just being held by that jack. Very minimal pressures just to hold it before we go ahead and remove these bolts. And yeah, we still have one hanger right there in the middle helping us with support. I just don't want this whole thing to drop on me because this exhaust is extremely heavy and I am by myself. Alright, removing the 12s. Alright, now working on the farthest hanger right here in the middle. Just being held in by one 12mm bolt right there. And the whole mount should come out. There you go. There's nothing holding that mount anymore. After we remove that, we're going to move back down to the driver's side of the muffler. And we're now going to remove the hanger bracket off this side as well. You can see them right there. I don't think we're going to need to remove this. We should be able to access all the bolts through right here. Go ahead and remove those 3 bolts. There's 2. Alright, so you see we got those first 2 out, but the last one, we almost stripped it. I was using a 12.12mm socket on a wobble extension. So to not further damage it anymore, we're just going to remove the plastic. This plastic piece, we have the same 10mm bolt right up there and 110 right there. Now it's only being held in by a push clip. You just pull out. Mine broke and it comes right out. And now to prevent any further damage on that bolt, we're going to use a 6.12mm socket and we're going to go straight up on it because before we were using the wobble. Oh shit. Alright, for obvious safety reasons, I put a spare tire underneath the muffler. We're going to go finish taking off that bolt completely. There you go. And we're just gonna let it come down. We still have one more hanger to remove, but as long as it's resting on something, perfect. Now our final bolt is gonna be straight behind this muffler. You can see it right there. That's our last 12mm bolt. It's going straight through the rubber of the hanger. And there you go. Now we're gonna lower the jack that's supporting the Y pipe. Alright, and there's really nothing to it but to do it, so let's just pull it right out. We're pulling towards us because we need to pop it out of the studs on the Cadillac converter. It's really heavy, so I'm going to just try to do it fast. I don't want it resting on those studs for too long. I'm actually surprised that they actually came apart. I don't think I would have been able to do them by myself. I think the force of gravity is what really pushed it out. Now it's time for the reinstallation. Yes sir, go fuck yourself. Now I did wipe down the new exhaust. I just wiped it down with purple power in a rag. I'm not going to bother polishing the whole thing. I will polish the tips after everything is said and done. Not a lot of rust like that. With the new exhaust, we do have the hanger mounts already on them. That saves us the trouble. But the only hardware it came with is what's in here. Now, I wouldn't reuse the gaskets. You can. I wouldn't. We don't even need any of the hardware. If you guys are getting a used exhaust for yourself, all the hardware could be replaced except this big guy right here. This you cannot get O'Reilly's. This is to the exhaust specific. This is what meets the wide pipes to that mid pipe. The other 4 gaskets you can get O'Reilly's. This is the part number right here. This is the brand. We got 4 of the same. All 4 gaskets probably cost me less than 20 bucks. And I did have to get the bolts. These are some Dorman help exhaust bolts. 4 sets. These are kind of expensive. These are probably like about 25 bucks. And then we did get some nuts. Also Dorman Flanged. And these are going to replace the shitty ass catalytic converter nuts that we have on there. And this was like 3 something. My bad. They are M10s, but the thread that's going to fit the catalytic converter is 1.25, not 1.5. My bad. These are going to be the ones you want. I'm going to put the part number in the description. Got all this at O'Reilly's. I did just recently do a giveaway for a gift card at O'Reilly's. How about we do 20 likes on this video and we'll do another giveaway. Y'all can let me know what for where you want. Tell me what you want the gift card for in the description. The week that this is 20 is the week we'll do the $25 giveaway. 20 likes. Just 20 likes. Say less. But anyways, so since I got used exhaust, I did want to splurge a little bit on the hardware, because why not? Some additions you can do to the hardware is you can use some Loctite. This is going to be the blue thread lock. You can also use some copper gasket spray. This really all it does is just help your gasket last a little bit longer. And since we are going to be reusing one gasket, I do want to use this at least on that one right there. I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. I'll also put the part numbers for all these in the description. Alright, let's do this. The first thing we're going to install is the mid pipe. I know it's hella random we're starting at the middle, but trust me, it's going to make sense. Oh, by the way, obviously, huge weight difference. That's always a plus. Let's go. Alright, go ahead and grab that 12mm nut that holds up the mid-pipe hanger. This mid-pipe, part of it goes underneath the sway bar and the other part goes over, just like so. And we're just gonna slide the bracket, the hanger mount bracket, into its stud, and with one arm supported, get the nut and go ahead and hand tighten it down. Alright, and move out the way because it is gonna drop down a little bit. Next, we're gonna remove the gaskets off the old cats. By the way, if you wanted to, you could have put the chastity brace first, that way it's not hanging. I don't have a lot of room under here, so I'm gonna do the chastity brace last. Of course, this is just an extra step, y'all don't have to do this, but since I'm gonna be reusing one gasket, I'm gonna go ahead and use this. This is not an adhesive. This is not to prevent any sort of leaks. This is just to prolong the life of your gaskets. It improves the transfer of heat and prevents them from rusting and seizing and all that. You can see by our old ones, you can see how bad they can get. So we're just gonna go ahead and hit it with a light coat. I did both sides. I didn't really do a number of coats. I just did till they all look shiny copper. The directions of the can, it doesn't say if it should dry. It literally only gives you directions of applying it. So I don't know if I should install them while they're tacky or dry. And they're not an adhesive, so I wouldn't imagine I would install them while they're tacky. So I'm gonna give them about 15 minutes and we're gonna throw them on the cats. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and just clean a little bit with the steel brush these studs on the cats. A quick cleaning will do that for both of them. Alright, the fucking one for the cats don't fit. The studs are too wide, so I had to fucking widen them out. Fucked up my bit, but fuck it. You can either reuse the OEM or try to find one out right that actually fits. I was thinking about reusing the OEM, but I already fucking put the copper on it, so I just had to make it work. Go ahead and put on your gasket. Now we're ready for the Y pipe. You can see I have my jack set up right here to help with like a second hand to support the other side of the Y pipe. Alright, we're gonna roll the pipe in here. We're gonna get the pipe to seat on our jack. And now we're just gonna navigate the Y pipe into the studs of the catalytic converters. There you go. Alright, and when bolting down the Y pipe to the catalytic converter, we're gonna put a tiny bit of thread lock on as much threads as we can see. And then we can hand thread the bolts down. Of course, I bought the 15s. So my fucking bad. I didn't know that the ones I bought from O'Reilly's were 15. These new ones are gonna be 15 mil. That's enough tighten for right now. Yes, sir. Alright, now we can go ahead and slide our 4 exhaust bolts behind and through the Y pipe. Go ahead and install your big gasket. There you go. Now to add a little bit of thread lock. Now we can go ahead and slide in the mid pipe. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and hand thread all 4 nuts. Okay. Alright, we're gonna start installing the mufflers. We're gonna start with the driver's side because it is the hardest. And we're using our jack method to help support it. As you can see, right there in the back, we're gonna bolt down the bottom end first so it's not all bouncing around us when we're working on the hanger mount. We're gonna go ahead and insert our 2 bolts. Then we're going to slide our gasket through our bolts. Be sure to add a little bit of thread lock. Now we're going to go ahead and navigate our muffler pipe to our bolts. Be sure to lift up the jack as needed. That way you can center down the bolts. There you go. Now we can hand tighten our nuts. Just keep lifting the jack up until you can center these bolts. Now with those bolts lightly hand tightened, as you can see, we're trying to get the mounting bracket to right here. Or we're just gonna lift up the jack just to constantly keep the muffler supported. Now we're gonna go ahead and push up the bracket and hand thread the bolt in. Do the same thing with all 3 bolts. By the way, I did put thread lock on each of these bolts. After you hand tighten them down and you're sure you're not cross-threading, go ahead and tighten them down. There you go. Now for the passenger muffler, it's only easier because in order to stabilize it and help us out, we can just put that one bolt right here. That's your long 12 that you took off. Go ahead and just grab it by the hanger itself, put your 12 through, and tighten it down. The most difficult part is to keep the muffler supported while you try to tighten down these bolts. That's the challenging part. Let's go ahead and hand tighten that bolt in. Alright, we're gonna go ahead now and bolt down the mounting plate. Obviously extremely difficult for you to see, but it's the exact same way we took it off. Remember to use the jack. You don't need to be lifting it all on your own. We all know you buff as hell. Go ahead and hand tighten down the 3 12mm bolts holding in the mounting hanger. Go ahead and tighten them down. Alright, same thing, gasket bolt. Then we're gonna slide our pipe through the bolts. Then we can go ahead and hand tighten down all the bolts. Not gonna lie, you do have to do some wrestling with the pipes, but that's why we keep all the bolts nice and loose. Now we have basically the whole exhaust assembled. Before we start putting back any covers, make sure you just go through and tighten each and every single bolt down. I'm not gonna go through every single bolt because y'all already saw me hand tighten them on. Every single bolt you touch, go through them one more time before we go put on any kind of brace or covers. Alright, and we're all done. Everything is all nice and buttoned up. The fitment's not the best. You can see right here it's touching the top corner. I've pushed it down every sort of way. I've loosened up all the bolts, shoved it, moved it, sprayed WD-40 on all the hangers. But when I tighten it up, it still touches the bumper. Not a big deal. I'm not gonna obsess over it. It is a used exhaust and the guy I traded from got it used, so it could have been dropped during shipment. There's a lot of scratches underneath, so it could have hit a curb and it got bent up. You can see right here that's probably exactly what happened. Is what it is, but let's do a leak test and hear how she sounds. By the way, guys, I'm not entirely sure what this ground wire is for. It just bolts up right here to the chassis. I couldn't find a bolt that fits right here because the hole's so big. It just needs to make a firm connection to whatever it's applying the ground to. It just needs to make a firm connection. Yes, sir. Say less. Now, I know this is exhaust. I know it heats up. I know that zip ties are not gonna last. Straight chilling. This shit's deep as hell. Wait a minute, bro. Alright, leak check without burning ourselves. Leak check. Nah, we straight. Nah, we straight. Smoking a lot. I think it just needs to warm up to the system. Car hasn't been on in a couple days. God damn. Alright, the easy part, putting back the cover, is just 3 10mm bolts. 1, 2, and 3. Now for the driver, 2 10mm and a push clip. 1 bolt, 2nd bolt, and the push clip. And then for the brace, we got 4 14mm up on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 3 12mm bolt that go at the end of the bracket. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm not gonna put any of our covers on, but put them on if you want to, if you have them. Now do the exact same thing on the other side. Thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all made it to the end of the video. Tomorrow, Smokey's getting his first photo shoot. I'm gonna be practicing my videography a little bit. He's also gonna be playing backup in the music video we're gonna try making for him with that beautiful exhaust sound. That's gonna be in next week's video. Go ahead and subscribe so y'all don't miss a thing. Remember, 20 likes and we're gonna do another $25 giveaway. Y'all can let me know where you want the gift card to be from. Just let me know in the comment section below. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please subscribe for more 350Z videos every single Friday morning. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye. Talk to him, Smokey. Talk to him.